Aloha. Well, this scene is so beautiful, I don't even want to mess it up with my face. I might just give the whole Pele report and just watch the falls over here. It's so beautiful. This is actually my new home. You might see a lot of Pele reports here. I'm down in Orentina, Costa Rica. And this is the river flowing right by the property. Today is June 26th of 2013. This is Kai Pacha with the weekly Pele report. It's an astrological forecast looking at the signs of our times, interpreting the best way to manage, handle the energies, how to flow with the river. It's a lot easier than trying to beat your way upstream. And astrology helps us to just kind of understand and see and flow with the cycles of evolution, the cycles of time as they are reflected in the cycles of the planets. And we can start with the moon because we're coming up to a third quarter moon today. It's actually not today, it's Saturday. Today is Wednesday. On Saturday the moon squares the sun in Cancer. Moon goes into Aries on Saturday. Right now on Wednesday it's in Aquarius. It moves through into Pisces on Thursday. Hits Neptune, trines Jupiter and Saturn. And then on Saturday it goes into Aries, squares with the moon, squares with the sun, trines Venus on Monday. Then it moves into Taurus. That's the movement of the moon. The sun is still in Cancer, just went in there. And the big shift, I'd say, you know, for this week, a couple of things that I really want to talk about is number one, Venus moves into Leo tomorrow, Thursday, June 27th. And as it moves into Leo, then it moves into a square with Saturn in Scorpio. That square is exact on Monday, but it's building all through the weekend. At the same time, today, as I'm giving this report, Mercury is stationary and it's going retrograde. Yes, indeed. For 3 weeks, we're going to have a Mercury retrograde with Venus, you know, coming into this square with Saturn, and the moon coming into a third quarter square with the sun. And I think these are the three overwhelming astrological influences I want to kind of combine and unite and work with today. The one last one would be, of course, it's going on for a couple of weeks here, is that Jupiter is joined with Black Moon Lilith right in the first few degrees of Cancer. I'm actually going to do a separate video on that. It's too much to go into here with this little weekly report. But what we're really looking at, you know, this Venus square Saturn is a third quarter square, 270 degrees, and we have to look for the seeds of any third quarter square in the seed that was sown at the conjunction. So you have to look back to the last week of November when Venus was conjunct Saturn. Decisions were made, contracts were made, agreements were made or broken, separations were initiated. Saturn is goals and Venus is values. At the end of November last year, you set some goals based upon some values that you had either from the past, from your conditioning, from external authorities, from your childhood, from your parents, and, you know, played out old patterns, or you chose at that time, you know, 6, 8, you know, months ago, you know, to break an old pattern, to change, you know, a situation, a condition, a relationship, and move forward into something new and different. And now, right, November to June to July, you know, 7 months later, 8 months later, Venus comes around to check that out. And it's the same here also with the moon is in a third quarter square to the sun. And we can say that June 8th was the new moon, where the seed was sown at that time. So we just really want to look at things go around. We initiate changes at a new phase, at the conjunction, and it comes around to the opposition, the full moon, which was last week. Venus opposite Saturn was a couple months ago. And now we're coming around to the third quarter, and Dane Rudyard calls this the crisis in consciousness. It's in some ways a harvest time. It is in some ways a karmic time, that what goes around comes around. The wheels that we set in motion, the actions and the decisions that we took and made and have been following through since that seed period are now bearing fruit. We are now able to see the results, and stuff is coming back to us. It's coming back at us. So it's a karmic time. Saturn, Capricorn, the 270-degree aspect in astrology. You know, Saturn's the lord of karma. So this is this coming back. And when things come back, we get to see, we gain in consciousness, we open our eyes, for better or for worse. You know, sickness or health. We see the results of our actions. We see what we did, right or wrong, good or bad. And this is where all the judgments come up, all the self-recriminations, all the sense of failure and grief, and oh, I could have done better, or I should have done this, or oh, what if I would have done that? And you know, we get lost in all of this stuff. And with this Mercury retrograde now, Mercury retrograde is also about reflection. Retrograde, reflect, redo, rethink, reevaluate, reanalyze. So, you know, it's reconfigure. This is a time of making adjustments, you know, in our lives according to what we have learned and what we now see that we did not see months ago or weeks ago. So this is a real inward time. Sun's in Cancer, Jupiter, you know, Jupiter Lilith. You know, Lilith is an angry, you know, internal feelings where we have just not had full self-acceptance. And I say this is the major key test here in dealing with self-judgment, with judgment from other people, is letting it slide off your back like water off of a duck, like the water falling down that waterfall. Let it go. It is good. It is right. And we may not see the perfection in ourselves. We may not see the perfection of the situation, but it is there. There is no wrong. There is only growth of consciousness and evolution. And the more we let go of judgment, we allow space for love to exist and to grow in our hearts. So the mantra for this week: when feelings of sorrow mingle with grief, and I see no end, escape, or relief, I remember that no choice can be wrong, as I have been choosing love all along. Each morning we wake up, each day we meditate, we do our yoga, we set our intention to open our hearts. We want to experience the beauty and the love of creation. And with that intention, it's necessary for us to believe that our decisions and our choices are guided by love, by the highest path. And we may not see that path or know that path for years to come, or lifetimes to come. But as we believe and embrace the river of life, and that our intentions are guiding our actions to the highest and greatest good of everything and everyone involved, we can rejoice, we can relax, we can release, and be free to move down river to the next set of rapids, to the next rocks, and just go around them and flow with them without the judgments, without getting blocked, without getting stopped, with our own guilt, shame, inadequacy. Let yourself mess up. Let yourself make mistakes. We are all learning to love. And you got to start with yourself. Sun in Cancer, Lilith in Cancer. Start loving yourself. When feelings of sorrow mingle with grief, and I see no end, escape, or relief, I remember that no choice can be wrong, as I have been choosing love all along. This is Kaipacha signing off. Namaste, aloha, so much love.